I'm going to show you a couple of equations that I saw on the internet, and I know most of you have seen them already. And they show you some shortcuts, but they don't tell you where these shortcuts come from. They look like tricks, and they're really not tricks. They just don't show you how to get them. So I'm going to show you that. One of those equations are the production says, which fraction is larger, 4/9 or 6/8? Well, they say you cross multiply. You multiply 4 times 8 and 9 times 6, and whichever number is larger, that's the larger fraction. 4 times 8 is 32, and 6 times 9 is 54. So it says 6/8 is the larger fraction. And you say, well, how do you know that? Okay. Well, let's do this. I'm going to show you where that comes from. 4/9 and 6/8. Let's find a common denominator for these. Well, a common denominator is when you multiply the denominators. Okay. So you did 8/8 and 9/9. Okay. So you get 4 times 8 is 32. 9 times 8 is 72. 6 times 9 is 54. 9 times 8 is 72. Now, they have the same denominators, so you can compare them, okay? 32 70-seconds and 54 70-seconds, which one is larger? Well, this is larger. This is larger. You did the same thing they said do there, cross multiply, but essentially what they didn't show you is what you're essentially doing is finding a common denominator. That's how that's done. And that's the proof for that. Okay, let's erase this. And I got one more to show you. I saw this on the internet myself. And I said, why are they doing that? Okay, let's see what we got here. Let me show you the next one. Okay, so the next problem says that you have, let me get my pen down. You have 10 men, and they can complete a task in 6 days. Then you have 12 men, and they can complete a task in X days. Okay. Now, the way the people on the internet did this, the guy says, well, if 10 is smaller than 12, then 6 has got to be smaller than X. So he said 6 times 10 divided by 12 equals 6 going to 12 2 times, 2 going to 6 5 times, X equals 5. Well, that doesn't tell you much, Doesn't tell you anything, really. So if you look on the internet, I have word problems that I did that shows you like the Democrat and Republican word problem, or just regular word problems. I've got it. I put some of those on my Facebook page. So what you got to remember is that we got a work rate is equal to the task divided by the time. Okay. So the task here is, I don't know what the task is. I don't remember if they even said what the task was. I think they said what did they say? Build a fence? I can't remember what it was, but it was a task. So anyway, they said the rate is one task per 6 days. Okay, that's what number one says. And they say 10 men can do it. So rate per man. Okay. So 10 men equals one task per 6 days. The next rate says, right here, 12 men per X days. 12 men times R men, the rate, is equal to 1 over X days. Okay. So you divide through by 10, you get the rate for men is equal to 1 over 10 times 1 over 6. And then the rate here for men, you get 1 over 12 times 1 over XD. And then what you do is, since these two are equal, the same rate, so we equate them. 1 over 10 times 1 over 6 is equal to 1 over 12 times 1 over X. Okay, to multiply it through by 12, so we get 12 divided by 10 times 6 equals 1 over X. Then you invert and multiply, get X is equal to 6 times 10 times 10 divided by 12. Let me erase this and get some room here. So now we got X is equal to 6 times 10 divided by 12. Well, 6 goes to 12 2 times, and 2 goes to 10 5 times. So the X equals 5 days if you add 2 more men. So you completed a day early. 10 men, 6 days, 12 men, 5 days. So that's it. That's the problem I wanted to show you. Now, they don't show you that on the internet. They just come up with a little trick. You know, that's what the internet does. You know, somebody learn a trick and they put it on the internet. You know, you get a few likes or something. Well, that's it. Okay. Let me erase this. So if you ever see this on the internet, you'll know how to find the answer. And look up my word problems on the internet. I put some on my Facebook page for my Facebook friends. And you'll be able to learn how to work those problems. And I'll show you something else in my first problem. In the first problems that I show, I have two different problems. I have word problems and I have the Democrat-Republican problem, work problem. And the first work problem I have is I have the number of, let X equal the number of days working together. So I have, I think Jane, two ladies work together, and the time they work together I call X, and one does it in 4 hours, builds a fence, and another does it in 5 hours, and that total thing is equal to 1 hour, one task. Okay, but in my Democrat-Republican work problem, I do it differently. I say 1 task per hour plus 1 task per 5 hours is equal to 1 over the time working together. I call that TD. That's the same thing as this up here. Let me call this X so we can stay in tune. So that's X, okay? That's tasks per hour. And this is tasks per hour, tasks per hour. Okay. If you take this problem here, right here, and you factor out X, you get 1 over 4 plus 1 over 5 is equal to 1. Okay. Is equal to 1. Then you divide through by X, and you get 1/4, 1 task per hour, plus 1 task per hour, per 5 hours, is equal 1 task per X hours. And it's the same thing. I just do them differently. With the time working together inside the equation rather than on the outside. But it's the same equation. So you may notice that. Oh, let me erase this. Okay, so yeah, look up those work problems I put on the internet, and you may not ever have a work problem you got to solve, but if your kids go to school or your grandkids go to school, they may get those in algebra, and you can help them out. Okay, that's it. Thank you.